Hey there, if you follow us on our YouTube channel or our website, you know my name is Scott Talley. I am the owner broker here at 5Market Realty, where we like to do monthly market updates for our clients, our past clients, people that just follow us that are interested in the Athens area real estate market, or people that just want to stay informed about what we're seeing on a monthly basis in our crazy industry that is real estate. So if you're interested in Athens area or Oconee County real estate, be sure to click subscribe. You'll be notified when we have a new video to share with you. And it's May 12th. 2026. I think it's now 6 years we've been doing videos like this, which is hard to believe. But today we're going to focus on the first 4 months of the year. We're going to talk about more listings that we're seeing in the market, which means price your home correctly. That's a big discussion we're having to have with clients right now. There's also some news out there about foreclosures rising. We're going to talk to you about that, which I feel like once a year we have to have the foreclosure discussion, and we'll do that again. And we'll also share information from national source of Keeping Current Matters. So I'll go ahead and get started. As you know, if you follow us, we follow four main things in Clark and Oconee County. We look at the days on market, the number of new listings, total homes sold, and the average price sold. We compare it year to date, and then we compare the months. We feel like this gives us a good idea of how our market is behaving and if we're seeing any changes. Right off the bat, you're going to see that we've got more listings here at about almost 8% in Clark and Oconee County. Days on market is slightly down about 5% from 60 to 57. We are seeing activity, and you're going to see a lot of homes finally sell this month in the month of May. Average home sale price is very flat at $494,250, and we're actually down about 11% on the total homes sold. A couple things I want to point out. One is that flat sale price year to date. Folks, that's something you need to start paying attention to. We're probably going to see, as we've been noting for a while now, equity gains flatten out and not in many cases go backwards, but a lot of cases holding firm. But, that's one of the things we're going to talk about too is pricing your home. Also, the number of new listings is up. And when we get these new listings, this is what helps buyers in the market with choices, helps negotiations. That's how we're going to loosen up our market, is with supply, not with any more government interference on things that we saw in the past. We're going to look here in the month of April, pull these numbers up. We got a lot of slides, so I won't spend too much time here. But total new listings was up, has been a trend, almost 9%. Days on market also down just about 7.5% from the month of April last year. And the average home sale price for the month of April, when compared to last year, went up just a little over 3%. That's better than the last slide, but that's just 1 month. And that's also a relatively normal number, about that 3 to 5% appreciation we used to see. Total home sold also very flat. Do feel like we're going to see a lot of home sales in the month of May. And we're seeing a lot of closings pending, a lot of things starting to happen in our office and really across the MLS. So I do think we're going to see a catch up on those home sales. But pointing out there, the price being pretty flat, and again, the total homes sold. As I mentioned before, as you saw on the other slide, we're pretty far behind 2024. But uniquely, I know in our office, and I can track the pending in the MLS, it looks like we're going to have a very strong May. May in the spring residential market should be, and hopefully that'll kind of catch us up. Then it really all becomes what happens the last 6 months of the year. Do we end up better with home sale totals in 2026? We'll find out as we progress through the year. Taking a look at the monthly inventory of homes, this one's kind of big. So I've been tracking this for a long time, and I guess it would all be after COVID, but we have not really crested above 500 homes for sale, Clark and Oconee County, in a consistent method in a while. And while that's not a earth-shattering number, it does demonstrate that we are now 500 as of today, Clark and Oconee County, 519 homes for sale. And then I'll come here looking back, that's 423 a year ago, which now represents 18.5% above last April. This is good news. This is giving buyers options. More supply is helping this market sort of be a little bit more balanced. And that's where we're going to go to next. The months of inventory. I've also called this monthly absorption rate. But just for Clark and Oconee County, we are right here at just under 5 months of inventory, which 4 to 6 months is balanced, and above 6 is a buyer's market. Now, I will tell you, if I did the entire Athens MLS and just not Clark and Oconee County, that number is going to jump up to about 6. So we're in a very balanced market, and depending on your home, the buyers might have a little bit more power than you realize. So be aware of that. That's where we're going to move to next, kind of talk about interest rates for a little bit, and then about pricing your home. There's been a lot of talk about interest rates being bad, and the truth is they're really not that bad. It's just they've kind of went up for a little while and came back down. But they're currently at their lowest level over the last 3 home spring buying seasons. So if you see here, you can see how much higher we were going back to last year, over 7. Now we're back. That's actually 2 years ago. Then we were just under 7 last March. And then here we're even lower. We saw that uptick that happened in March, but we've come back down. So interest rates aren't really scaring people off as much. People are sort of to adjust to the climate. The next thing we're going to look at is the interest rate projections, because there's a lot of people that still feel like something's going to happen and then they're going to get this great new interest rate. This is from Freddie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, Wells Fargo. They're projecting a pretty flat interest rate climate. There's things in the world we can't, do anything about. What's happening nationally, gas prices, things like that. But, this is something that is projected to be pretty flat. I think it might be possible to see it come down, but I don't think it will be a significant, huge change. Gone are the days of the 3 and 4%. We're not going to see that for a while. In fact, if we see that, it probably means something's happened we don't want to happen. Now we're going to talk about, in this market, price it right or be ready to adjust. So there's a stat that they threw in here from Keeping Current Matters that really surprised me. This is from Realtor.com, Keeping Current Matters, right above my head. 80% of sellers think they'll get their asking price. So you can see here 37% think they'll get more than they're asking, and 46% think they're going to get their asking price. Well, we're having a lot of conversations with sellers because there are properties that are unique that are going to do very well. But the reality is, what I just showed you was a balanced market. And I told you also, if I did the entire Athens MLS and not just Clark and Oconee, it's going to almost get into a buyer's market. So what we really need to be focusing on is the price of a home. So if you see here, let me move my head. Percentage of homes that sell for less than asking price. Right where my head is 2018 and 2019. 62 and 64% sold below list price. Look here in 21 and 22, drastically less numbers, 38% and 42. Only less than 50% would sell below the asking price. But as you see here, as we get into 23, 24, and now 26, 2025 was 62%. Look above my head. That's a pre-COVID number. This is normal. And when we say this, it doesn't mean that each home is having to come off a lot of numbers. We just had a house sell the other day that they did come off price, but it was less than 1%. It was 99.5% of their asking price. So these numbers don't tell the whole truth, but you do need to be aware of pricing your home in this market. The average percent of listing price is reduced based on the amount of days. So what this means is, how much do people end up coming off the price correlated to the days on market? You can see below my head, 0 to 14 days, 15 to 30. This is looking like 5 and 6%. But if we come across over here, we start getting to 90, 120 days, 9 to 14%. So when you hit the market, it's not always a great strategy to say, oh, somebody will negotiate down. You need to price where the buyer perceives that is the value, not where they think they can get you to the value. You need to price it correctly. We're in a different market. We're in a historically normal market where buyers and sellers have conversations and negotiations. Price cuts also get bigger based on how long they sit on the market. So this is sources NAR and KCM analysis of average sale price of a home listed at 400K days on market. You can see here how many days it goes on market, and you just drop off a cliff. Over 120 days, it's over $50,000 over reduction. So that is telling you, come to market correctly. Do not try to come too high and have somebody negotiate down. Now, I feel like once a year, there's always one of these market videos that I have to talk about foreclosures. It's kind of like I mentioned earlier, we've been doing this for 6 years. Everybody was scared of foreclosures in COVID. Everybody was scared after COVID. Everybody was scared again. And the truth is, the cost of living has gone up, and there is foreclosure activity, but we're going to show you it's more normal than you realize. So let me move my head again. Foreclosure activity is rising. Properties with foreclosure filings. And as you see here, this is the last several quarters of 2025, just under $100,000 here, and now we're just under $120,000 in Q1. So the truth is, while that seems like 120,000 foreclosures, oh no, that is a historically low number. I mean, if you think to 2008, it might have been up to 9 million foreclosures. That's how many we were seeing. So this is not the number that is scary to someone like us, that's people like us that are on the market, because we understand foreclosures are part of a normal market. We don't want to see anybody get their home foreclosed on, but it does happen. Foreclosure activity, I'll move my head here, as the market normalizes. Look over here to this side. You can see this is 2008, 2009, and you can see the drastic number of foreclosures. I feel like it's a broken record, like I said before. At least once a year, I'm having this foreclosure talk and having to demonstrate that it is not what people think it is. And look here, just brought in this green line. This is going back to 2021 when they started having foreclosures again. And this is a pretty consistent amount, just over 100,000 each quarter. So we're seeing actually a normalcy there. Now, granted, this little one right here did have a slight increase, but relative to the history of it, it's not drastic at all. Now, we are going to pay attention to it. We're going to let you know if we start seeing something change. And this is from Credit Karma. More than 3 in 4 Americans, 78%, report that they do not feel financially secure. The top culprit is the rising cost of living, 47%, followed by the current state of the economy, 42%. There are things in this world, as I mentioned before, we cannot control: foreign wars, the cost of gas, and we all have seen inflation hit us, and cost of living. Property taxes. I think everyone paying attention to races in the state of Georgia for the governor or anything are talking about affordability and talking about property taxes. I personally, like many of you, have been greatly impacted by the increase of property taxes since 2020. Let's continue here. And this is a little more difficult to follow, so I'm going to try to get my head out of the way. So there's a lot of data here, but don't let the colors confuse you too much. Struggling homeowners are prioritizing their mortgage payments. Green is mortgage, blue is a home equity line, and of course, this is auto right here. Percent of loans that are 90 plus days delinquent. And the source here is the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. These green and blue lines are very low. People are going to protect their home. The ones that are up here, if you can see this auto, spikes up, and the red there is also credit card, and then this line here represents student loan debt. So while there are signs in the economy of some pressure, most people are going to really protect their home and prioritize that mortgage payment. Another quote here: properties foreclosed in Q1 26 had been in foreclosure process for an average of 577 days. This was down 3% from the previous quarter and 14% from the same time last year, marking 6 consecutive quarters of decline, and that is from Adam. Demand for mortgage assistance is rising sharply, and this is something we'll watch. This is from Google Trends, and basically people searching the term help with mortgage has gone up. And we think that's due to a lot of things because things are expensive. The cost of gas, the cost of property taxes, life has definitely gotten more expensive in the 2020s. But as we demonstrated to you before, the mortgage and anything around your home is a top priority for people to pay. See, what we're going to show you here is that buyers are adjusting the higher mortgage rates. This is a FHFA source. But look how many people have less than a 4% mortgage. That's 50%. 22% almost have 6% or more, and 27% have 4 to 6%. So a lot of people still have these low mortgages. About 75% of that pie is below 6%. And what does that mean? Well, a lot of people have equity. So if you find yourself in a financial circumstance where you cannot pay your mortgage and you have equity, you need to sell your home. That's what we see a lot of people do. 2/3 have paid off their mortgage or at least have 50% equity. That's what this graph here is showing you. And what that means is while we will see foreclosures, they're going to happen. We don't want that to happen to anybody. We don't see any trends that are going to create an economic shift in the housing market that's going to have foreclosures impact us the way they did in 2008, 9, and 10. So that's it. Thanks for following me for a long one today, all 13 minutes. That's a long one for us. So usually I have a group photo here, but apparently last time I didn't use the correct group photo. We just had new ones done, and I'm not sure which one to use. So here you go. You've got our office building. This is where we are, 824 South Millage. Info at 5M Realty. Anybody in our group can help you find a home, sell a home, investment property. And you may want to start talking to them earlier than later because there's a lot of ducks to get in a row. Thank you for sticking with me. Have a great spring, and we'll see you next month.